It is written in our prophecy that we shall find the true white brother who will help us join together to build humanity. There is a place for everyone. We are the chosen people. Give back our holy land. We are the air, the forest. We are great spirits. She will call us soon. She will shake her body, bringing your land to ruin. Why will the world not hear us? We are most ancient teachers. We know great spirits plan. We learn by nature's secrets, the inner side of man. We are the chosen people. Give back our sacred land. We are the four grandfathers, a destiny for
I cannot help but think about the tragic paradox between our true nature, or who we really are, and the created nature that we have imagined ourselves into being over the course of human history. The facts are that we are all one and all connected. Even science proves this when studying the interaction between two seemingly unconnected energies, thoughts, or life forms. I do not pretend to have a scientific mind, and I may be oversimplifying things, but the basic premise is true. We affect everything with every thought, action, and intention we put out. Everything in the universe is made up of the stuff of stars, just rearranged differently in form and conscious awareness. The Sasquatch people and other guides are here in this time of great need to remind us of this universal truth. If you have been blessed to reside in a higher vibrational state of no judgment, however briefly, then you just know. It is felt in an energy/vibration that supersedes language. There is no language barrier, misinterpretation, or deception common to the spoken word in the language of energy. Energy is the true universal language that can be understood by all that is. That said, it is very much akin to trying to describe love to the uninitiated. You cannot really grasp it with words. It is something you have to experience on an energy level to understand. If we are part of the collective whole, then why is it that we humans spend our lives trying to separate ourselves from it? We reside in houses constructed with the fragile bricks of ego. and mortar blended from the myth of separation. Look at the non-judgmental innocence of a child, and then watch that purity slowly get stripped away. Children often remember who they are and where they came from, until we go about the nasty business of programming them to believe that they are the polar opposite. The circle represents connection, yet we as a society are constantly constructing boxes of exclusion based on race, political affiliation, religion, sexuality, and a myriad of other reasons. Can you imagine a world that nurtures the innocent knowing of a child and then embraces and cultivates that knowing? To me, this is where the strong foundation for what some call a conscious shift will be built from. I like to think of the universe as a human body where everything is connected and there is no such thing as separation. In this simple analogy, it is easy to see how an issue or health concern in one area of the body will adversely affect other parts and the body as a whole. This is also how it works on the larger universal scale. This perspective makes one want to be more accountable and hopefully makes them reevaluate their thoughts, their actions, and the way they interact moving forward. I truly believe that the new world, conscious shift, or whatever one refers to it as, is simply a vibrational change. It is a higher vibrational state of no judgment. I don't question that the SASQUATCH people and many of the other teachers that are reaching out to us in these exciting times occupy even higher states of consciousness. But they all realize that this is the next big step in our evolution and are here to assist us in this transition. I think that many of us caught up in this awakening process get too enamored with the details and excitement from a roller coaster ride of discovery. It is a given that the road to awakening is dotted with many exciting discoveries that advance our path, but these should not be the primary focus. To me, our chief focus should be to get to that state of no judgment. I know that when I occupy that state, it feels like I have all knowing, yet it also seems unimportant. The only thing that seems important is the undeniable feeling of unconditional love and connection we share with everything. How we as a people transcend to this state is the question. And I don't feel that there is any one stock answer. However, I do feel that it has to start with oneself. The reason for that, as I see it, is twofold. Trying to tackle the problem in its entirety is too big. It's overwhelming. While working on oneself is eminently doable. In addition to that, the work has to be done by each individual because each person has to personally be in that state of consciousness. One cannot just drag them there or suggest they look into it. They actually have to arrive at that place themselves. Once there, the planting of seeds with others is inevitable, and you will find the people you're supposed to connect with will show up. In summation, it's a personal thing that can mushroom. And I think the immediate goal is to try to get back to that state of no judgment we were born into. Next time you find yourself judging someone by clicking all those mental boxes of exclusion, change it up and see something positive in them. Take note of how that makes you feel. I think the answer will tell you all you need to know. Is the ego coming to an end? When one no longer identifies with every thought that comes into their head, that signals the end of the ego. Two things are true. The ego dissolves in the light of awareness, and awareness is consciousness prior to thought. If one accepts this, then one must also accept that ego cannot exist in a higher state of consciousness. The ego is all about judgment and self-preservation, and by definition cannot exist in that higher state of no judgment. It is obvious to anyone who is in the process of waking up that man is knee-deep in the business of transcending consciousness. An evolutionary step for mankind is coming to an end, and we are on the cusp of another. The usefulness of the ego has also run its course. The ego gives us a sense of self, self-esteem, and self-importance, but that sense of self is replaced with a knowing of connection to everything when one transcends to a higher state of awareness. From my personal observations, thought becomes obsolete, or at least far less important, because in the state of consciousness I visited, there was a sense of all-knowing. I think that is because you are literally connected to everything that is and tapped into its consciousness. You don't have a thirst to know, you just do. Your sense of self is now a sense of family connection to all that is. The love and inner peace that one feels in this state of no judgment is truly beyond words. But the definition of home in its purest form would be one way to describe it. The caterpillar's life is about to run its course. Some of us are in the transitionary cocoon stage, while others are already radiant butterflies winging through new frontiers of consciousness. Thank you to the ones who have gone before us and lit our path. The thoughts that I have shared here are not new or original, but it is always a privilege to share words of hope with anyone who has the ears and the heart to listen. Thank you.
Well, I've had dreams enough for one, and I've got love enough for three. I have my hopes to comfort me. I got my new horizons out to see. But I'm never gonna lose your precious gift. It will always be that way. 'Cause I know I'm gonna find my peace of mind someday. Where is this place that we have found? Nobody knows where we are bound. I long to hear, I need to see, 'cause I've shed